Welcome to Fables of Our Deconstruction, a podcast where we examine our systems of faith and culture together as we grow as people. I'm your host, Dylan. If you like what you hear, check me out at patreon.com/Dylan. If you'd like to be on a future episode, leave me a message at 515-318-7569, or find Fables of Our Deconstruction on Anchor FM and leave me a voice message. Leave your name, otherwise I will keep you anonymous. Let's get into this. Alright, for starters, you gotta know that I got a dog and a cat arguing over me just outside the vicinity of the microphone. So if you hear a cat or a clatter, do not be alarmed. And secondly, I want you to know that today we do not have a formal episode of Fables. I am up to my ever-loving eyeballs doing a residency in Des Moines. I'm working on an installation piece, a first of its kind for me. Usually when I'm in schools working with kids, I work on comics. I teach kids how to illustrate their own comics. They do their own project. Things go pretty smoothly, and then I'm off, and they don't see me again for sometimes ever. In this situation, I'm working with a bunch of third graders. We are creating an installation of Neverland inspired by Peter Pan. It is going as well as something I've never done before can go. If you want to know more about my outlook on that, you can check out my Substack. But today what I want to talk to you about, comics. I have a new comic book coming out. Well, kickstarting. Champions. You can go to championscomic.com. championscomic.com. And see all the latest news on it. It's just a vanity URL. It takes you directly to my website. You can check out all the cool things going on in the world of my comic. The Kickstarter starts on March 4th, which is exciting, but also daunting. So I'm really hyper-focused on that. And one of the things I thought we could spend just a few minutes, just a little bit of your time, talking about here on Fables is the idea of why we tell stories. Now, I'm a big proponent of Brian McDonald. He's got two excellent books out. He's got Forbidden. He's got Invisible Ink and The Golden Theme. Excuse my stumbling. I don't think I'm going to edit this one. This is like a riff, so we're just going to go for it. But in The Golden Theme is a book that teaches you the secret of storytelling is that we're all human beings. We're all the same. So we're trying to convey some sort of survival mechanism through our storytelling. I think that's why I'm doing Fables. I'm giving you some of my harshest critiques as I deconstruct things. That way we can learn from each other. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. We can tell our stories and see how we're making it through the systems that we have. Champions as a comic is no different. The first issue came out in 2016. Originally it was going to be an issue a year, and the pandemic really threw a wrench in that guy there. But we're approaching the end now, and I've said this before, I feel like I'm a different person. I'm not the same. The original Champions was riddled with religious imagery, and it still is, but I'm not a believer anymore. At that time, when I made Champions, I was one of those like, well, I believe in something. I definitely don't support organized religion, but there's clearly a God. You can see it everywhere in everything you do. And so I was trying to express those ideas, but I don't know if I want to express them anymore. So I'm trying to find a way to get to the ending. I have 22 pages left to illustrate. It won't take long. It'll be done by the end of March. And how in those pages do I exhibit a shift in a way that isn't stark and offensive? I don't know how to do that. It'll be a sincere challenge. My artwork has changed a lot since Champions began. You can see a distinct difference in the characters. In some respect, they're designed better now. There's even moments where I look back at some of the artwork I had created and I'm like, oh my god, I was putting that out into the world. This is not the quality I would release today. But I think those are good problems to have. There's growth. We're talking about growth. At the end of the day, if you're confused, if you're frustrated, I think what we're looking at is growth. And I'm confused and frustrated with my project in Des Moines. I think it'll turn out nicely. It's just different and new and wild. It's my first time working this way. Champions took a 2-year hiatus because of a pandemic. And now I'm different. And it's new. And it's wild. And it's daunting. I'm trying to raise $10,000 through my Kickstarter. So if you choose to join up at championscomic.com is a short link to get to all that stuff. You can give me even $30 and get yourself a copy of the book. You can tell me at the end of the day, hey man, your artwork changed. Or you say, hey man, this is still religious and weird. Or hey man, I love it. Hey man, I hate it. Hey man, never make this again. Hey man, make another comic book. Whatever you want to say. Any of those things would be perfectly fine by me. This is going to be one hell of a week. I'm sure when I come back to you, I will have thoughts and feelings. We will have come off of 2 events. So, I don't know what else to say, but we will see where we are at on all of that. Hope is a challenging thing when you're trying to be grounded in reality. I want to thank you all for being here. It's been a wonderful time recording this. Just a brief little message for you all as the week comes moving on. I want to remind you that if you want to ask my friend Will Anderson or I some questions, we've got a forum you can find in the description of this podcast. It should help you out. And as always, we've got our ending. So let's move into that. This has been Fables of Our Deconstruction. Fables of Our Deconstruction is created by me, Dylan Jacobson. Please like and review Fables wherever you get your podcasts, and join my community, the Brimstone Order, at patreon.com/Dylan. I'd like to thank Apes of the State for the use of their song Moments a Year From Now as my intro and outro. And remember, you're never alone. We are the ones we've been waiting for.